Chapter 24 Scene of the Crime. After a week they had heard no more from either of the banks they had robbed, which was good. In fact, the only news report of any interest to Bouncer and Graham had been that 2 cleaners from the local Corunna laboratory, Dave and Leslie, had been rescued from their home after one of its laboratories had reported that a piece of equipment had been stolen. The 2 cleaners explained that they had been kidnapped and held at one of their homes, but neither could offer any more information than that. The news, or lack thereof, had left Bouncer and Graham resting on their laurels, and with their newfound confidence they had started to make plans for a larger and more glorious heist. "Graham, how much solarium do we have left?" asked Bouncer as he prepared the farvier for the next job. "A little, but I don't know if it'll be enough to go far, Bouncer," replied Graham. "Okay, righto, looks like we'll have to get some more then, won't we?" replied Bouncer. "We can't go back in. Dave and Leslie must have told them everything they knew by now. They'll be on the lookout, and security will be much tighter." "Who said we need to go back in?" said Bouncer, tapping the farvier. "Right," replied Graham, as he realized they already had all they needed to acquire more solarium. "When do we do it then?" "What about tomorrow morning, say 0100? The shift change is midnight. The security guards should have done their walk around by then and settled down for the evening," smiled Bouncer. "Sounds risky," said Graham. "How do you know they won't be super vigilant, Bouncer?" "They aren't paid enough, Graham. They make all the right noises, but when it comes down to it there is no one watching the watchers, plus we'll be in and out in seconds. We just have to get the elevation correct," said Bouncer, smiling. Right on 0100 Bouncer entered the LET for the accelerator room and #2HEL before flicking the switch. The multi-position robot arm jumped into life responding to the coordinates, and a few seconds later the blue halo crackled into existence. Bouncer looked through the portal and scanned round the room, eventually spotting the enriched solarium he and Graham so desperately needed to continue their run of thefts. He smiled as he thought to himself, "No one's even moved it." He could see a pile of papers too, that looked a lot like the documents he had picked up when they had stolen the farvier, which didn't make much sense, but his eagerness to get the solarium overruled any suspicions he may have had. His nanotech could feel the pull of the solarium, and they were compelling Bouncer's arm through the portal. Reaching further than he had needed to in either of the bank jobs, Bouncer realized he had got the LLET ever so slightly wrong. It was off just enough to cause him to overbalance and fall through the portal itself. As Graham watched his friend's legs disappear through the portal, he shouted, "Bouncer, are you okay?" Yes, I'm fine, Graham," replied Bouncer. "I just got the numbers off slightly. I'll get the solarium and pass it through to you." What Bouncer had also failed to realize was that he was being watched, not by a lax security guard on a low-quality black and white monitor, but by a high-quality, full HD, video camera, one of the many video cameras that had been installed to record a previous experiment. The small error in the LLET had resulted in more than him falling through the portal. He had slipped dimensions too, he just hadn't realized it yet.